there aren't too many topics that are going to be needle movers right away and be able to supplement anyone's trading strategy from the moment they understand what they're looking at. And what I'm talking about is visible range volume profile. That's a lot of words to describe where is the price-based volume on any chart. Where are the most contracts that have been traded at, the most shares, whatever it is you're looking for, where is the attention? And really, when you talk about attention, when we are talking about where big money is at and how to measure big money, this is the way to do it. So forget all the talk about algos and institutions and hedge funds and retail and dark pools. This is the best, most accessible way to put this to work right away. And that is using a volume profile, or in this case, the visible range volume profile. Now, for today's example, I'm going to use TradingView charts. These are charts that I use in the Sector Secrets Mastery. They're very accessible. They're a fantastic platform to supplement anybody's trading approach. All my tools are available on it, so I'm going to use that for today's purposes. All right, so let's get to it. So first of all, what is visible range volume profile? So if I'm looking at the S&P futures for the month of March, or maybe this for 2025, visible range volume profile means whatever amount of data I have visible on the screen, or in this case to the beginning of 2025, that's what is going to be used to fuel this histogram to the right that's running vertically. Now, some folks might be used to regular volume, how many contracts were traded at what time. I'm really not interested in that. For the most part, we all know the bulk of the contracts or shares that are traded in any symbol are usually going to be concentrated in the first and last hour of the day. Not really all that helpful. But what if you could see where the most number of shares or contracts were traded based on price? This is how you follow the big money. And what's big money? It's accumulation of retail, hedge funds, institutions, big banks, you name it, right? This is the magic decoder ring for finding size, and that's going to be this information along the right edge. This is the S&P futures, and if I look at the month of March, or better yet, if I look at the year, I can see the most number of contracts have been traded right here. This is known as the POC, or the point of control. This is the most number of contracts traded since the beginning of the year in the S&P 500 futures. I can do the same thing with the SPY. I can look at that. I can do the same thing with Apple. I can do the same thing with NVIDIA, you name it. So I can look at where the bulk of the contracts have been traded over a given amount of time. All right, so let's say NVIDIA, for example, the point of control is 135.30. All right, that's the first layer. Right, that's the first layer. The second layer, and I'm going to use some current examples in our Sector Secrets Mastery trades that I've got on in the Mastery, and one of them is Johnson & Johnson. We bought calls in Johnson & Johnson. We've already scaled out of them, but I want to show you what we were looking at. So take a peek. Here's the volume. Here's that volume profile point of control, but that's really not in play right now. So what else can I look at? Now you'll notice there are certain peaks, if you will, where the volume is higher at some levels. I'm just going to extend those out. If it's below current price, I'm going to highlight it as green because that's going to be support. If it's above current price, I'm going to highlight it as red because that could be an obstacle to follow through from the upside. I'd say that one's kind of borderline, red or green, but right here, that is definitely above where price closed in Johnson & Johnson. So I'm going to paint that red. These are all what I call volume ledges. And of course, this here is the point of control. So this is the most, and these are, sequentially the next highest levels of attention, participation, size in Johnson & Johnson. When we bought Johnson & Johnson, we bought it on a dip. And the whole idea is for a green candle to enter this gray zone. That is a volatility zone of support. Now let's talk about support for a moment. When we're talking about size, we're talking about big money, institutions, banks, retail traders. Anytime we have support, we think about who that is, right? Who is support, right? Who is support? Well, I'm thinking about support being buyers, right? So these are buyers. Sorry about the terrible handwriting. I'm using a mouse. All right, we talk about buyers. What are buyers going to do? They're going to create a floor by what? Demanding to buy, right? What is wanting to buy? It's demand. So support is all of these things. It's not the term that differentiates what they are. It's why we're calling it support, while we're calling that where the buyers are, where we're calling that a floor, or we're calling that demand. They all mean the same thing. It's how it's being calculated. So in this case, the how or the why is volume, right? So we're using volume to say, hey, this is where support, buyers, floor, demand. We can also use volatility. We can also use price. There are a lot of reasons, but it's not the name. It's why it's plotting that spot on the chart. So you can see here, volume kicked in at around 163.20. Now, when we bought Johnson & Johnson, the whole idea was to find a level from which we would expect volume or volatility to create support. Support, floor, demand, buying, right? And when we think about why we get into any symbol, it's because we expect follow through, right? We're expecting there to be movement from that level. Well, our trigger for this Johnson & Johnson trade on the 28th of February was between 163.05 and 163.20. Why? Because there's that volatility-based support in the gray zone, and take a look at that volume ledge. That's why it makes sense to expect support, floor, demand, that type of movement buying to the upside. And that's exactly what we got. Now, the next level that I'm looking at, well, I'm looking for support around 165. I know there's going to be resistance around 166.5. If you're looking to decode size, this is how you do it. All right, what about movement in, say, Apple? All right, this is not as clearly an uptrend. And this is kind of stuck in a range. We can see why it's stuck in a range. So here I've got the data for 2025. This is what the visible range volume profile is using. Here's the main support level because it's below price, right? This is going to be resistance here. This is going to be resistance here. This is going to be resistance here. And notice that there is kind of a larger range that Apple is stuck in at the moment. And if you want to define it with these levels, maybe you're using the point of control. There's another volume ledge here. There's another volume ledge here. Notice that's where Apple is stuck. Now, volume ledges, these volume profile price levels, are usually not levels that most traders are looking at, because most of them are looking at time or date-based volume, or they're not thinking about volume at all. So when you can see this on the chart, it makes a whole lot more sense. And again, there's resistance right here. It's another level of resistance to watch. There's resistance up in here. And by understanding that price moves to a level where either it can overcome the resistance or overcome the support, or not, it remains in the range. Now you know what those decision levels are. And they're being determined in large part by the actions that have already taken place. There's already attention at this level. There's already money, size at this level. So when traders ask, Rog, how do you follow the big money? I say, look, I look for the footprints that they leave. And those footprints are best found with looking at price-based volume. This is exactly how you can do it. Now, in future videos, I'll walk through a little bit more nuanced a look at another way of looking at volume, which is the session-based volume, where I can see the point of control, this little yellow line right here, for every single session. And this is another interesting line in the sand where if we're wondering if things are bullish or bearish, if we're wondering about traction above or below the most volume that occurred in the previous session, it's kind of interesting. Let me just leave you with this thought, because hopefully I've whetted your appetite and I've given you a really functional path to understanding how to decode where the big money is. And you've got to use volume, right? And when you have a day where price is below that previous session's point of control, now that you know what that is, the most volume that occurred for that session, when we're below that, there's a little bit of bearishness. When we're above that, there's more bullishness. So when you use things like that, plus maybe the previous session close, you're going to have much better sentiment reads for why something would follow through or why it may be stuck in a range. Put this to work. Whatever you're doing right now, this will be a fantastic complement to that. Another popular symbol, we've been trading this really actively in the Sector Secrets Mastery, is gold. Now remember, this can work for ETFs, this can work for stocks, and yes, this can work for futures. So if I'm looking at where the volume has been so far in gold for 2025, what do I know is a huge obstacle to the upside? Well, it's been all year. Look at that point of control. It's been very difficult for gold to accelerate and keep accelerating north of that level. And then when I look at where there are individual levels here, right, I have a much better idea why gold could move up from certain levels. And when I add in the session specific point of control, it makes sense why above this level here, bullishness, above this level here, bullishness. Now tomorrow, if we can get above that level, it should be bullish. So that's how we use this. It's very practical. Everyone can use it. It's built into TradingView. That's why I'm sharing this, so you don't have to do anything proprietary or fancy. Put this to work tomorrow. You can coattail the big money. It's very effective. And hopefully this is going to be a great blueprint for you going forward to understand the framework of participation, the framework of big money, and take advantage of it. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.